So today we're going to make some southern cornbread and chicken dressing. We're going to start by oiling our casserole dish. I'm using a 9x13 today. We're just going to make the cornbread to start with. And this is going to be a light cornbread, so that's why I'm not using any cast iron skillet, because I do not want the dark crust. We're going to use some Martha White, I think it is, cornmeal mix. I'm going to start by using 4 cups of this. Now you can adjust this if you're making a bigger batch of dressing, but I'm just using 4 cups today. Now we're going to add a little bit of buttermilk into the cornmeal. I would say this is about a half a cup to a cup. I'm going to need more, but I'm going to start with just a little bit to help loosen it up. Now I'm going to add around 3 eggs into the mix. This is just going to act as a binder. You can add more if you need to use up some eggs like I do. Our chickens are laying really good now, so I have a lot of eggs I could use. Going to add around a 1/4 cup of oil. You can use lard, bacon grease. I'm just using a little bit of vegetable oil. We're going to mix this up and add more buttermilk until we have the consistency that we're looking for. Now we're going to pour this in the pan, and I'm going to cook it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for around 20 minutes or until it's golden light brown. Now the cornbread is done. I've let it cool enough so I can crumble it up. This is a little bit browner than I like it, but we were homeschooling, so time got away from me. We're going to crumble this up into little bits. Sometimes I use a food processor to do it if I really want it super fine, but this time I'm just going to use my hands with this pan. Now I have some leftover bread that I toasted up, and I'm going to crumble that up. I decided I'd use a food processor to do that because it was pretty hard. This is a good use of any old bread that you have, any stale bread or old biscuits, anything like that would make a good addition to this dressing. To add an onion into a stick of butter, and I'm going to saute that with some celery until it's tender, and then I'm going to add that into my food processor. Now you don't have to, you can leave in the onions, cut them in small pieces along with the celery, but my children do not like chunks of vegetables, so I always puree them so they don't know they're even in there. My onion and celery in pretty big chunks because I knew that I was going to, use a food processor to puree them. However, if you're going to leave them in there, chop them up finer than I did. So now I'm going to take one sleeve of Sautéing crackers and add it into the food processor, and then put that in the bowl with my cornbread and my toasted loaf bread. So I'm going to add the celery, onions, and butter into the food processor. If you have a Vitamix, it works even better than the food processor, but since I already have this dirtied up, I don't want any more dishes. So I have some turkey stock that I made from this year's turkey, and we're going to add that to help puree it. Also, I'm going to add that into the cornbread mixture as well. So I'm going to add a little bit of water because I didn't want to open another jar of my turkey stock, but if you have chicken stock, that would work. I'm just using a little bit of water to get it to the consistency that's not too dry but not too wet. You'll see it. So now we're going to add the seasonings. I'm going to start with 1 teaspoon of salt, a little bit of black pepper, and then I'm going to add some ground sage. Now you can leave the ground sage out if you're not a fan of it, but we really like it. So I think I add 2 to 3 teaspoons into the mix. Now you haven't added the eggs yet, so you can go ahead and taste it and see before adding too much. I would try like 1 teaspoon and then taste it, and if you think you would like more, you can add some, because you really can't take it away once it's in there. Now we're going to add the eggs. I think I'm using 4 eggs today, but you can use, if you're making a big batch, you'll want to add more eggs. And if you're making a smaller batch, you can get away with 1 to 2 eggs. But I'm adding about 4 eggs today, and we're going to mix that up. And then we're going to get our chicken in it. So the other night I made a big roaster of some chicken breast, and I had some left over. So I'm going to put a couple pieces of it in the cornbread dressing. That way it'll be a complete meal. I'll serve this on the side with some green beans and cranberry sauce and some gravy, and that'll be the entire meal. But you can leave the chicken out if you don't have it and just have dressing. But we like the chicken added in when it's a complete dinner. So I'm going to oil up my roaster, and we're going to put the dressing in and cook it on 350. Mine went for 45 minutes before it was completely done. the channel. Also, if you would share the videos, that would help out the channel so much. Until next time.